Hey everybody, SA Bogan again here with another video on another detector that I have, the Excalibur 1000. I picked this one up a couple of months ago, second hand off of Gumtree at a very good price. I'm just going to go through the settings, some of the pros and cons, and basically the overall operation of the detector. So the really good thing about this detector is very simple to set up and use. Basically you've got the 5 knobs from lowest to highest here. You've got your pinpoint mode, your discrimination mode in the same. You've got your threshold or your on and off switch. You've got the volume, the sensitivity, and you've also got your discrimination notches here. So pretty much when I get to the beach here, I've already got it in discrimination mode. It'll be easy. Just turn up the threshold and then back it down to where you can just barely hear it, just like most of the detectors with a threshold setting. Volume, some of the videos that I have seen, a lot of people recommend having it pretty much flat out. One of the reasons for that is if there is a very faint signal in the ground, you're going to hear it if the volume is at maximum. Plus I find the earphones that come with the detector, or that are hardwired to the detector, aren't the greatest in my opinion. They are made by Koss and they are waterproof headphones. Downside is they're not very adjustable, so you pretty much put them on. You can move the side up and down if you like to get it fitting to your head, but it doesn't really fit very snug to my head anyway. So yeah, I've got the volume at maximum. Sensitivity here is another one that's going to pretty much dictate how deep you're going to find your targets. There is an automatic setting, just like a lot of the other detectors, like let's say the Xterra for instance, that has a lot of automatic like ground balancing and things like that. The sensitivity is good if you're working in dry sand. It will automatically balance the detector for you, or ground balance, and find the optimal setting for the sensitivity. However, if you're going from dry to wet to water, it can lose depth due to the fact that it's trying to compensate for the mineralization in the sand. So I tend to operate almost full bore, make sure that my detector isn't falsing when I'm on the beach. That was a problem that I had at the beginning. I didn't have that set up correctly. I also never move the discrimination notches either. Having a look on websites and whatnot, you can start to use them, but I mean, even in the low setting for discrimination, you're going to cut out things like your 9-carat gold rings and some of the smaller coins as well. To be completely honest, the ability for it to null out or basically cut the sound on iron is awesome, so I never actually run it on discrimination mode at all. I sometimes do use the pinpoint mode, which basically is an all metal mode. It will detect iron as well as everything else. The discrimination notch will basically be cancelled out if you have it set to anything. That's really good if there's not a lot of iron in the ground, you're not hitting a lot of targets. You can put it into pinpoint mode. It does give you extra depth, but it also doesn't differentiate between targets. It has the one tone. If you do find something in pinpoint mode, you can always switch it back over to discrimination mode, wave the coil over a few times, and if it blanks out, you know that it's iron. Or if you can't hit anything at all, it just means that the target is too deep for the detector to find it in discrimination mode. Then dig it, put the coil over it in the hole, and see what it is. So basically, as a quick run over disc mode, threshold just where you can just hear it, volume max, sensitivity pretty much 2/3 or 3/4 full, and I have discrimination at 0. One thing that I did need to purchase when I bought the Excalibur was the replacement battery. I picked this up at Miners Den for about $170. Waterproof, just like the actual unit is as well. Sorry about that, guys. I live near an airport, so I just had to cut that for a second while a helicopter went over. So the battery was about $170. I was considering getting the other battery refurbished with a battery kit from eBay. The only thing is, not guaranteed to be waterproof or watertight, whereas if I just go and buy a new battery, I know that this one will be submersible. So once again, yeah, that was about $170. The other thing that I did purchase from Miners Den the other day was the hip mount. I did order a chest mount from eBay that never arrived. They say that they sent a second one, still waiting on that, and it's been well over a month. So I went down to Miners Den, bought the hip mount, and basically, I don't know if you guys can see that in there, but there's a tube. You've got the two nylon lock nuts there, one here and one here, and that basically has this component here, the strap on the other side where the bolts actually, the bolt heads are. Screw that into the two holes, and then it's actually got the push button underneath for the battery to be attached to it. I absolutely have enjoyed using this. It has made the detector easier to use for a longer period of time, as opposed to having it actually connected to the points that are already on the actual detector itself. The Excalibur does use the BBS technology, and the 1000 has the 10-inch double D coil. Apart from that, I use the beach scoop like shown in one of my previous videos, and a couple days ago managed to hit a gold opal ring, which I'll show you a quick video at the end of this video of me picking it up out of the sand after I scooped it out, and I'll also show you a still of some of the jewelry that I've found only within the last week of actually having good settings on the Excalibur, which makes a huge difference. My personal opinion on this detector, well worth the money, especially if you can find one secondhand. Beach performance is unreal. Being able to go into the water is definitely an advantage. I've run a GT Sovereign as well, and we've run these side by side. Virtually the same, only difference is a lot less settings to muck around with on the Excalibur, which could be a bit of a con as well, but I've had very, very good success with the Excalibur 1000. So what I'll do is I'll leave it here for now. I'll show you a couple of stills of the jewelry and coins that I've found only in the past week or so, and then the 15 seconds of finding the opal ring. Thanks a lot, guys, and remember to subscribe. Here we go. First decent target of the morning. You can see it right there. Beautiful. Second opal ring.